Back to the basics, time to know. Soft skills, girls, and latest strength show. Work smarter, reach higher, unlock the door to more success than ever before.
Today, we are going to dive into the exciting world of brainstorming. It's a fundamental skill that many of us use daily. I'm going to make this very dramatic for this opening here. Whether we realize it or not, in this session, we'll unlock the creative superpower that brainstorming offers, and we'll even explore how to harness its full potential, even when we're working remotely, which is increasingly common in today's professional landscape, such as ours in telehealth. Our goal is to equip you with practical tools and a fresh perspective to generate innovative solutions, spark new ideas, and ultimately find better outcomes for any change that you face. Well, let's get started on this journey to become brainstorming pros. Okay, I did that very dramatically for you. And by the end of this lesson, you'll have a clear understanding of what brainstorming is, what it truly is. And then moving just beyond that common perception, we'll dive into the four golden rules of brainstorming. These are critical principles that will significantly enhance your brainstorming sessions. And finally, we'll put these rules into practice. We'll try out a brainstorming exercise together in a virtual setting so we can experience firsthand how these concepts will translate. Our aim is to make these goals not just theoretical, but immediately applicable to the work that you'll do. So what exactly is brainstorming? You're thinking, I can tell you're thinking, even though I can't see you. At its core, brainstorming is a powerful technique. It's designed to generate a large number and a large quantity of ideas very quickly. The most crucial element here, and I can't even emphasize this enough, is that no judging is allowed yet. Think of it as a free-flowing exploration where every idea, no matter how unconventional it might seem, is welcomed. We're casting a net to capture every possible thought, concept, spark, solution, wild idea, plan, vision, or dream. The goal in this phase, this initial phase, is purely about volume, about getting everything out there. We'll worry about refining things and evaluating it later, but for now, let's embrace the abundance of ideas. So there's four golden rules for brainstorming. Let's talk about them. It's the bedrock. It's the cornerstone of effective brainstorming of these four golden rules. These principles are going to be your guiding stars, whether you are working by yourself or whether you're working with a team. First one, it's quantity over quality. This is foundational. In brainstorming, we prioritize generating a high volume of ideas first. Don't censor yourself or others based on the perceived quality at this stage. The more ideas that you have, the higher the likelihood of stumbling upon something that's truly innovative and truly effective. Think of this like you're mining for gold, right? And you need to sift through a lot of ore and dirt just to get those tiny little precious nuggets or flakes. Okay, so that's quantity over quality. The second one, no criticism. This is absolutely vital for making sure that you have a safe and creative environment. During this brainstorming phase, there shouldn't be any criticism, none whatsoever, no negative feedback, no premature judgment of anyone's ideas or even your own. This includes the verbal comments, body language, or even subtle facial expressions. The moment that judgment enters the room, then people become hesitant to share, and the flow of ideas will just dry up. We want everyone to feel comfortable proposing even the wildest idea or thought without the fear of any kind of ridicule. It's a safe environment, just like when we do training. This is a safe environment to express how you feel and ask questions. The next one is to encourage wild ideas. Don't just tolerate wild ideas, actively encourage them. You want them wild. Sometimes the most outlandish, crazy, or seemingly impractical ideas contain the seed for something really brilliant. They can push the boundaries of conventional thinking and lead to a breakthrough that's more sensible. That's wild ideas. It could be absurd, bizarre, out of the box, anything. The wilder, the better. And the last part is to build on others' ideas. This is where that magic of collaboration and collaborative brainstorming really happens. To listen actively to what others are saying and see if you can expand upon their suggestions. It's not just simply adding another idea to the list. It's about taking an existing idea and iterating on it, combining it with other, or even taking a new direction. It's a synergy. It's a synergistic approach that often leads to more robust and comprehensive solutions than it would be if you had individual ideas alone. It's about collective intelligence. So now we've gone from as many ideas as we can without criticizing. We're looking for the wildest stuff, and then we build on that. That's where conversation starts. So let's practice. So we've had enough with this theory. And before I continue, I just want to make sure everyone is tracking with me, making sure that you're able to understand that I'm at a pace that makes it easy to synthesize. I can't see you right now because I'm presenting. So if there is something that you want to share or have a comment, I don't mind if we just pause for a few seconds and then you mention anything. Are we tracking together? Does this seem to make sense so far? Let's put these four golden rules into action. So we're going to tackle a common challenge, especially because we work remote. This is our current work landscape. We're in different countries. We're not side by side. So our prompt for today's session is how can we make remote meetings even more engaging? This is the question that a lot of us really wrestle with in the back of our minds. This is a perfect opportunity to apply some brainstorming principle. So for this exercise, I need you to imagine if you will, right? Imagine if you will, virtual collaborative tool. It could be a Jamboard, it could be a Google Doc, it could be an online Word doc, it could be anything that you are using that could be collaborative for virtual collaboration. And they're excellent platforms for capturing ideas, especially remotely. So the key here is to keep ideas flowing and to not overthink anything. So remember the rules. We want to focus on quantity, no criticism. We want to encourage wild ideas and build on what others will suggest. Let's take a few moments and then just think about how many ideas that we can generate. Thinking about what makes a meeting dull, and then let's flip it on its head. Consider different aspects of how you can prepare for the meeting, how we follow up the tools, the activities, the adventures. And that at itself, it will give us some time that we can start to think of a few ideas that we can come up with together. What we're looking at, and this is where I need your participation, but we're looking at like how can we make remote and online meetings better? What are some things that we could do? Just start telling me, and I'm going to start typing them as we go. So how can we make online meetings and online collaborations even better?
Icebreakers.
Icebreakers, excellent. And what else? What else can we do to make to make an online or a remote meeting even better? Icebreakers are great. It's a great way to get people to start talking. What's next? What else can we do?
I would say, Alan, like when you're having a meeting, maybe when it's time for you to actually like present something, at least don't just have writing only. Maybe like have at least a bit of animations to actually like make everything visible.
Nice. Animations to make things visible. There's a BL. There we go. All right. What else?
Yeah, I would like also to add ons the to those I mean ideas that they've provided. So aside from icebreakers, animation to make things visible, I would like also to say that it is important to set a clear purpose or agenda of this of this conversation. And aside from that, as much as possible, if this is a big kind of um, if this is a big kind of meeting, then we could have assigned roles to each and every one to make things smoothly presented during the meeting. And then aside from that, I could also say that it is important to open our camera as well, for at least um, our facilitator would see if we're really listening to what they're trying to say or lecture during the meeting. And also, aside from that, um, if the facilitator would ask for any reactions or like comments, then as a listener, we have to um, also participate on that. So that's all, Alan.
Wonderful. What else? Just anything. Remember, we can have wild ideas. It can be crazy. It could be silly. What are some things that we could do? And we'll just spend another couple of seconds with
Alright,
this portion of the exercise.
can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you very clearly.
Alright, thank you so much. And yeah, the only one thing that I have observed every time I conducted a meeting, the previous my work, I do an outline. This is the first thing that I have to present first to my co-meeting. The first one, of course, we have the opening vibes, and that will be asking by name about the participants. The second one, that's correct, Joyce. That's quick icebreaker to make it sure that everyone will be committed in this meeting. And the purpose of the purpose or the agenda of the meeting, the goal and the end. So that would be the my idea regarding with this.
Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different things in that short period of time. That's
Mhm.
really good. So now we've got 9 things that are there. Although we didn't spend a long time with all of this brainstorming that we just did. This is just the very beginning of that discussion. But now that we've had a chance to apply some of the principles, let's just take a moment to just kind of look back and reflect on that real short experience. What stood out to you during this exercise? Did anything surprise you about that few moments that we started this process? Normally, we would do this as a workshop. We would spend about a half an hour, 40 minutes to do this portion of the lesson. But what about that process were about the ideas that started to come to the surface that you noticed? What did you notice? What did you think about? What stood out? Okay. I will give you my take on what happened. All the ideas, without any judgment, we had 9 of them. What I saw is once one person started to participate, that encouraged others to participate. At the very beginning, it was very hard and it was almost some dead silence. But once we started speaking, that allowed others to start thinking as well. Oh, I forgot about this idea. I forgot about that idea. We went from icebreakers and we had 9 different things all together. That's what brainstorming does, especially when you do this in a collaborative environment. It really just encourages people to think and to not have any kind of fear about what it is that you're going to brainstorm or discuss. It's not right or wrong answers. It's just getting everything out there because that one little thing that you think might be silly or weird or outlandish or whatever words you'd like to use could spark something else in someone else. And then they start to think. So that's a very important concept. This is some quick tips for brainstorming. When to use brainstorming. So it's just beyond practicing. When exactly is brainstorming the most effective? It's the most versatile tool that can be applied to so many different situations, solving problems. When you're facing a challenge or you need some kind of an innovative solution, brainstorming should be your go-to because it'll help you to explore this wide range of potential answers rather than settling for the very first one. Because sometimes the first one could be great, but the first one can spark other things as well. So it also talks about innovating, right? So if you're looking to create something new, whether it's a project or a service or a product or a process, that brainstorming is really what could ignite that creative flow, that spark, if you will, to think outside of just existing frameworks. Remember, I don't like to talk about thinking outside of the box because you really shouldn't be in a box, but it helps you to think outside of these paradigms and mindsets that you have. Then with planning, for project planning, strategic planning, or even if you're planning an event or a celebration, brainstorming helps you to consider every angle, anticipate what potential roadblocks might happen, right? Because we're not just looking for the solution, but we want to make sure that we look at the things that will keep us on track and what could go ahead and throw us off track. And that will allow us to generate this really comprehensive approach. And finally, creating. In any creative endeavor, whether it's from writing a story to designing a new marketing campaign to a new training, the benefits or the benefit of all of this is to generate these initial ideas and concepts. So it's basically essentially any time and anywhere that you need just a fresh perspective. Brainstorming can be that invaluable technique. So here's some quick tips on brainstorming. Great ideas for brainstorming. Voice memos. I'll use my phone. If you're working in your call center and you don't have access to that, somewhere along the line you have a place to keep notes, whether it's a notepad or a Google Doc or something like that. You keep your idea doc available. I do this all the time. I just use the little notepad and I don't want to forget this. Let me go ahead and just type it down really quickly. And I use that as my idea doc. Walking around. That can go ahead, and walking around means not just walking around just to walk around, but to kind of walk around with purpose so that you can free your mind to allow the ideas to start flowing, to clear it a little bit. And the most important thing is to talk it out loud. You need to speak out loud. You need to hear yourself the way it's supposed to come out. That will allow you, even if you're just sitting there talking to yourself. All right, Alan, I need an idea for this. I need an idea for that. I'm working with myself to brainstorm these ideas. There we go. And the takeaway for this, more ideas equals better ideas, plain and simple. You got to be bold. You got to be a little bit weird. And then you have to brainstorm more often, right? Because the more ideas will absolutely lead to other ideas, which will then evolve into better ideas. It's a numbers game at the very beginning. I'm not looking for the best idea. I'm looking for every idea because anything that you do can trigger another thought or another thought in someone else that will help with that innovation of the idea. And that's how you become more effective at brainstorming, which will help you with your problem solving altogether. These are the 4 golden rules: quantity over quality, no criticism, wild ideas, and building on others' ideas. Based on some of these concepts, I want you to think, what is the first thing that you can do with your team on brainstorming? Things would you like to go ahead and accomplish? As long as you have a clear idea of what you want to start with, the brainstorming will take you through everything step by step until you have an idea that's viable. but you have to do this in earnest. Like you really have to put your heart into it as you go through this process.